Welcome. What a glorious day. What a wonderful time of life to be graduating from high school in a beautiful spring day and to have so many friends and family here to support you. The class of 2014 is remarkable. The joy I see in their faces as they smile at each other coming up on stage is memorable to me. All of us will miss this class, miss them tremendously when the new year begins, but we wish them joy and many wonderful accomplishments. The only thing we ask is that they not forget us, any of us, who stand here today to support them. We want every one of them to keep in touch regularly, to post on Facebook, to send missives through the regular snail mail if they wish, but to keep in touch with those of us who care so much about their success in the future. We also hope that whatever they do, they remember the family they have left behind, and all of you in this room are a part of that family. We look forward to granting the diplomas, celebrating with them and with you as this ceremony ends. This is also the moment in the program where we pause to make any special awards. Doesn't say that this year in the program because we tried hard to keep it a secret. But this year, it is my honor to present the Paul J. Kessler Award, which is given to a member of the Buffalo Seminary community who exemplifies dedication and outstanding leadership as a community volunteer. We have given this award only twice before, in 2009 to Linda Goodman and in 2012 to Kevin O'Leary. At this time, I would like to invite Niska Kessler, class of 1962, to come forward to represent the family in making this award. I also take perhaps just a little bit of perverse pleasure in now asking Helen Marlette to come forward and stand on the stage. Honoring Helen Lads Marlette for service and dedication and leadership is easy. We all know that she is an amazing woman, and we are fortunate to have her as a member of the SEM community. When I asked people to help me prepare remarks, everyone was enthusiastic. She is an amazing colleague, friend, mentor, coach, and teacher, they said. She gives 110% to anything she undertakes, except, of course, picking up or leaving a clean, well-organized office. She is an outstanding teacher who is loved by her students. She makes it her business to get to know them in the classroom, around the school, and on the athletic field. She manages to bring out the best in each individual she has taught or coached or worked with. She pushes hard, but she prepares us all for a soft landing. She sets high standards for herself, for her students, for everyone around her. In the past few years, we have watched her topple a canoe on the Buffalo River, moments after assuring all the sophomores that tipping over could never happen. When it is time for a hawk walk or a Hornet Jacket Day event, she is often the one lugging tables, chairs, sound systems, and food to Larkin Field, usually in her convertible. When seniors need internships, she will make any phone call, coach each student on polite etiquette and appropriate dress. At dances, she insists on handshakes and introductions to make sure that SEM girls graduate with all the skills, academic and other, that they will need for life. A true school person in the best sense of that word, Helen goes to everything. But sporting events are undoubtedly her favorite. As she goes, she's happy to transport others. She doesn't hesitate to put an 88-year-old STEM grad into her new Miata convertible for a ride to the 20th Century Club, or take 5 international students across town and back to meet their volunteer obligations. Only occasionally do we need to remind her that she is late to pick them up. This year, she rearranged all of her own plans to drive the squash team to Philadelphia for a long weekend, when at the last minute the coach was unable to go. Helen Marlette is a woman of many talents. She is an outstanding athlete. Her squash partner reports that she is the best, that she teaches her something every time they play. She is a student of games: squash, golf, tennis, field hockey, and others. She can analyze any play, swing, and technique, and has an ability to see things that no one else sees. When she coaches and teaches students, she talks directly to them, never down to them or at them. For that, she commands tremendous respect from all of us. Beyond all of this, Helen brings a bit of fun to any difficult task. She is serious and thoughtful when needed, but she loves a good laugh and makes any challenging situation a little bit easier because of her humor. Helen has been honored before as a member of Leadership Buffalo, recognized by 40 Under 40. Most days, however, she is content to work in the smallest office in the school because she spends a lot of her time out and about, helping to make everything run smoothly and everyone else's lives more simple. The impact of her long and powerful school career has been felt at Oldfield School in Maryland and at Nichols School here in Buffalo before she came to SEM. We are grateful that Helen came to Buffalo Seminary 7 years ago as Director of Athletics. She has served this school in so many ways. When I first asked her to be Dean of Students and then to be Director of External Relations and Assistant Head of School, she said that she would do the work as long as she could continue to coach and to teach. She is honest, humble, and devoted to her family. There is no one more deserving of recognition, and it is a special privilege to give the Paul J. Kessler Award for dedication, outstanding leadership, and service to Helen Lads Marlette. It's also an honor to introduce today's graduation speaker. Nicole Lee graduated from Buffalo Seminary in 1994 and celebrated her 20th reunion with some classmates this past weekend. She has a degree in history and her law degree from the University at Buffalo. Nicole was the first female president of Trans-Africa, the nation's premier African-American foreign affairs organization. She has led investigations and missions documenting violations of human rights, testified before Congress, and served as a resource to government officials and members of the media on international policy issues affecting Africa, Latin America, the Caribbean, and racial minorities throughout the world. She has been listed in Ebony Magazine's top 100 most influential African Americans, authored numerous opinion pieces, and appeared on ABC, NBC, CNN, the BBC, and NPR, among others. She has recently started a consulting practice. It is no surprise that the senior class wanted to hear from Nicole. She led SIM's strategic planning initiative this year. She was a graduation speaker in 2009, and she spoke to our students last year. Every time she speaks, I know I carry a little nugget of wisdom away from her talk. It is a pleasure to introduce Nicole Lee.
Thank you, Jody, for that wonderful introduction. To the Board of Trustees, our extraordinary faculty, SEM alumni, proud parents, and our beautiful graduates, good afternoon. It is a real honor to be here with you on such a special day. For the parents, I know this moment has been 18 years in the making. For our graduates, it has been 4 years of hard work and dedication. I have had the opportunity to get to know some of you through my work as a trustee. You are a bright and determined class that is not afraid to stand together. You remind me so much of my graduating class. Outgoing, strong, diverse. As Jody said, it is a reunion year for us, and it was really special to spend the weekend with so many of them and recognize that even after 20 years, the bonds of friendship still exist. I am also obliged to bring greetings from another Buffalonian who lives in Washington, D.C. A few weeks ago, Wolf Blitzer, who is a CNN host and reporter, and I shared some stories about our upcoming respective commencement speeches in Buffalo. He spoke at Canisius College in May, and when I told him I'd be speaking with you, he said to extend his warmest congratulations. But then he also said that when he was in high school, he always wanted to date a girl from the Buffalo Seminary, and they were always turning him down. So someone from the class of 1966 really missed out. Those of us who have graduated from the Buffalo Seminary know we are lucky and blessed. But I would be remiss as the immediate past president of Trans-Africa, as Jody said, an international organization dedicated to eradicating human rights abuses and creating a world where all people have the opportunity to live in peace and freedom. Not to mention that as lucky and blessed as we are, we still live in a world that is filled with bias and inequity. In many countries, laws or the lack of resources stand as a barrier and as an obstacle for women and girls to receive an education. In some places, educating a girl is met with persecution and sometimes death. Over 50 days ago, 300 girls were kidnapped from northeast Nigeria. They were kidnapped by a terrorist organization called Boko Haram. They claimed that they will traffic these girls or use them in a hostage trade. They were kidnapped from their school in the middle of the night. Why were they at their school? Because despite a state of emergency, they went to school to complete their physics exams. Their physics exams were necessary for them to graduate. Imagine that. Imagine that in order to complete high school, a student or a parent has to contemplate and then reconcile with the idea that they could be targeted or killed. These high school girls were poised to be the future doctors, lawyers, and artists like many of you, and they risked their safety for their education. But we know they are not the only ones. All over the world, young women risk their lives for their education. In another instance, Malala Yousafzai, a Pakistani girl who worked with her father to ensure girls had access to education at a time when the Taliban had been barred from attending school, was targeted in 2012. Gunmen boarded her school bus, asked for her by name, and then shot her. Miraculously, she survived, and she continues to work to advocate for girls' education. She has spoken in front of the United Nations and has been nominated for the Nobel Peace Prize, all before the age of 16. While there is a tendency for us to make someone like Malala to be more than human, to be superhuman, I believe that each one of us has the courage to stand up in the face of injustice for what really matters. We are blessed and lucky that we have been able to have an extraordinary education, and I feel an extraordinary responsibility to honor it by advocating for girls around the globe. And I know you do too. I was proud that a few weeks ago you, the women of the Buffalo Seminary, stood up and raised your voices to support the young women of Nigeria. After our lovely Skype chat, you participated in an International Day of Solidarity with the Bring Back Our Girls campaign, a campaign that was started by the families of the kidnapped girls in Nigeria and has reverberated around the world. Your voices rang around the city as the article in the Buffalo News attests. Just by being you and living your lives with integrity, yet fearlessly, you can crack glass ceilings and bring hope to those with such little hope. The class of 2014, and frankly, all the classes that are present, give me hope that we are building a world where my two little girls will have to work just a little bit less to make sure women have freedom. But now, I do have a confession to make. Class of 2014, I was really nervous about this speech. For the last several weeks, I have read and listened to the best graduation speeches. I have asked young people that I know what they would want to hear at a graduation. When I've run into you, your graduates, your parents, regular citizens of Buffalo just trying to get through the Walgreens checkout, I have asked you, what do you think I should say? What would actually be meaningful? But after my reunion weekend and talking with my friends, I realized where my mental block was coming from. So here's the truth. Here's the real truth, class of 2014. You and I are actually in the same situation. We are leaving the life we are used to, this comfortable life, and going into a life that is filled with unknowns. SEM, high school, Buffalo is what you know. And while I know graduation has been your goal, I wouldn't be surprised if some of you were feeling a little bit of trepidation. For me, I've become comfortable working with Congress. I know those hallways like I know my own home. With my title, doors are open, phone calls were answered. Like you, I know the system. I know how to accomplish things. I know what is expected of me. I know who I am. So, virtually 20 years later, as I sat in your seats, I feel as if I am in the same place you are. Excited, nervous, afraid that things will never be the same, happy that things will never be the same. So I thought we should have a conversation, class of 2014, because it has been 20 years since I donned my white dress and my dozen roses. But there are a few things that I've learned, 6 things actually, that I'd like to share with you. Number 1, you will face adversity. The world is evolving, but we have a long way to go. I guarantee you, in the next 4 years, someone will doubt you or disregard you based upon your gender. Maybe even based upon your race or sexuality. Their opinion does not define you. What you do in the face of that adversity defines you. You are prepared to overcome whatever is thrown at you from your experience at SEM with grace and dignity. Number 2, failure isn't always failure. There's always going to be someone who seems more talented, who has better grades, nicer hair, or a better sense of style. That's okay. Not everything we want is meant for us. Your highest good will find you if you seek it. Number 3, no matter what you do with your life, take time for social good. I cannot tell you how many of my peers from college and law school who thought community service was a waste of time now seek me out to find out how they can make a difference in the world. Because even the most lavish lifestyles without meaning are bereft and unfortunate. You don't have to go to the other side of the world to change it. You can change it right here in your own community with your talents and your impressive intellect. Number 4, laugh. Be happy even when you don't feel like being happy. Happiness is a learned behavior. It is not based on circumstances. It is based on practice. This took me a few tough lessons. I'll share one lesson with you. When I lived in Haiti, one day my boyfriend in the United States called me and said he was breaking up with me for another girl. I was so angry and hurt, but mostly I was angry because I was so different. Why couldn't I be like everybody else? Why couldn't I stay in the United States? Why did I so much want to work on the other side of the globe, and why did it cost me so much? And I wasn't happy. I sulked all day, and I went into my last meeting. I wasn't prepared at all. The other attorney handed me a file to read as she was speaking with the client, a smiling, bright young woman. I'm reading through her file, and I realize this young woman's family's been killed. She has nowhere to live, and she has no skills to get a job. And yet she's happy. So out of my own frustration, out of my own stuff, out of my own personal life, I just blurted out to you, aren't you angry about everything that has happened to you? Or why are you so happy? Her response was, Metli, mwen pas remède ou non poison, which means in Haitian Creole, I don't like the taste of poison. In other words, being angry and sad hurts you more than anyone else. Happiness is a choice. My last 2 are from other women who I've come to know along the way. This is a good example of your highest good seeking you out. I've been really privileged to meet some amazing women. Number 5 is, in all aspects of your life, choose your path courageously. Maria Shriver puts it this way: have the courage to go beyond your fears. Have the courage to go beyond the woulda, shoulda, coulda. Live and write your own story, and then be brave enough to communicate it authentically. Trust me, someone else will be inspired by it and learn from it. And lastly, if you remember nothing else from what I've said, class of 2014, know that, most importantly, you are enough. The great poet Maya Angelou, whose work was first introduced to me by Robert McGavran in sophomore English, said, "Stand still inside of yourself and know who you are." You are enough. The people who matter love you and will continue to love you through your triumphs and through your mistakes. Take a breath. Love yourself. Be in the moment. Don't be in such a rush to be who you'll be in 5 and 10 years. Be brave enough to love yourself as you are, right in this moment. I am grateful for you. I am excited for you. You are going to have great, meaningful lives. Each and every one of you are destined for it. Follow your path. Stay your course. Good luck and congratulations.
Now it is time to award the diplomas. Julia Eleanor Polk. Jung Yoon. Congratulations. Mary Collins O'Connor. Congratulations, Mary. Great. Paige Kathleen Gannon. Oh, congratulations, Paige. That's great. No. Maeve Ann Malber. Congratulations. Annabelle Oppenheimer Cleary. Congratulations. Rachel Jennifer Barnes. Congratulations, Rachel. Yija Ju. Got that in line? Congratulations. That's great. Thank you. Maribel Brett Letty. Her diploma will be given by her father, Trustee John Letty. Congratulations, Maribel. Great. Zhihao Zhang. Congratulations. Great. Amber Simone Baker Chin. Yidi Zhang. This is Brenda. Samantha Ray Berry. Great work, Sam. Congratulations. Madeline Chloe Thompson. Congratulations, Maddie. Clara Dorothy Keevy. Congratulations. Vanessa Maram Abdeen. Congratulations. Thank you. Catherine Ann Hare. Her diploma will be given by her father. Congratulations, Katie. That's great. Alexandra Ariel Glick. Her diploma will be given by her father. I'll miss you. Congratulations. Gabrielle Patricia Fiorella. Congratulations, Gabby. Hiba Tarek Al-Naji. Amanda Elizabeth Garris. Congratulations, Amanda. It's been great. Molly Rose Armstrong. Nicole Kathleen Montalvo. Congratulations. Thank you. Sarah Marie Schmidley. Congratulations. Kay Yu. Congratulations, Kay. Annalise Brigitte Eschwades. Congratulations. Sarah Schrader Oblitz. Oh, Sarah, congratulations. Marla Leanna Byer. Congratulations, Marla. Thank you. Natalie Davis Vos. Congratulations, Natalie. Oh. Amelia Giselle Navarrete. No fans, right? Congratulations. Kelsey Elizabeth Walk. Marissa Claire Egloff. I'm trying not to cry.
Thank you.
Catherine Grace Haig. It's been wonderful. Congratulations. Pamela Kim Rivas. It's been wonderful. Catherine Louise Thomas. Katie, congratulations. Yanqing Ma. Congratulations. Thank you. Megan Marie Sullivan. Congratulations, Megan. Katarine Copeland Dunbar. Miss you, Catherine. Shezhe Zhang. Congratulations. Xuanxi Liu. Congratulations, Winnie. Yizhe Wang. Congratulations. That's great. Xinyu Liu. Congratulations, that was great. Niancy Liu. It's been wonderful. Thank you. Congratulations to the class of 2014.
Good afternoon. It is such a privilege and an honor to be addressing you today. I know this is kind of lame, but it's really true that if you had told me on my graduation day from some 16 years ago that I would be addressing the class of 2014, which at that point seemed like a million years in the future, their families, friends, and fellow alumni, I probably wouldn't have believed you. SEM has been such an important part of my life, and I know it has been for all of you as well. When you go off to college at the end of the summer and new friends you meet ask you about what kind of high school you went to, you will try to describe SEM to them, but it will be hard to truly articulate just what a special and sometimes weird place SEM is. I'm sure there are many graduates in the audience who know what I mean. You can try to explain Hornet Jacket Day, or the multiple times you have actually slept at the school, or the time you were in the school play with your teacher, the lunches, all of those amazing snacks your advisor, Mrs. Green, brought for you over the years. Am I right, guys? All those times you did God knows what in the study hall or the senior lounge. But it is only these girls, your classmates and friends, who will understand what the last 4 years of your life have been like. You will always share a special bond with them and with all of your fellow SEM alumni. After these graduates requested that I be their graduation speaker, at first I was honored and grateful, but then I was totally terrified as I thought, what would I ever talk about? It was only fitting, though, that I found my inspiration in a fellow alumna. I had a wonderful conversation with Annette Stevens-Wilton, class of 1952, at a Sabres game earlier this year. Now, think back to the Sabres season. I'm sure many of you sports fans have blocked it from your memory, but there was plenty of time for conversation during these games. Mrs. Wilton is a friend of my husband's childhood friend, and he had brought her to the game. We were discussing SEM, and I loved hearing her stories about Miss Angel and the SEM of the 1940s and 1950s. One story in particular stood out to me on this evening. Mrs. Wilton said, one of the things that Miss Angel always told us, aside from dictating heel height and reminding students not to wear lip rouge, was, make everything that happens to you good for you. I thought a lot about that statement after that night. Make everything that happens to you good for you. Sometimes while lying awake at night thinking about work I had to do or worrying about the weeks to come, I would think about what a great message that was and pledge at 2 a.m. that I was definitely going to get up at morning meeting the next morning and make an emotional plea for everyone to follow that advice. Then morning would come and I would realize in the clear light of day that I'm really not that emotional. I'm more apt to give you a high five rather than a hug, and didn't deliver the message. Then, when I was asked to speak today, I realized that it was the perfect forum to deliver it, as I wanted to impart some kind of advice for the class of 2014. In many ways, this class has already heeded this advice, make everything that happens to you good for you. On the junior class trip to Washington, D.C. last year, they took a ride in what can only be described as a step away from a broken-down bus, and a tour guide who, aside from alerting us when to bounce, wasn't very helpful. You turned it into a wonderful trip, complete with a flash mob in the hotel hallway, which we were lucky enough to see on video yesterday at class day. When faced with a blizzard warning on their way to Boston this year, despite some detours, they persevered and all returned with tales of a good time. When a freshman year classmate of theirs passed away earlier this year, in addition to mourning her, they celebrated her by including a tribute to her in their yearbook. Many of you have dealt with family issues, illness, and loss, yet still sit here smiling today, looking beautiful, ready to tackle the next phase of your lives. And not everything is just going to happen to you. You control many things about your own life. As you head to college next year, you can work hard, make an effort to make new friends and try new things, choose a major, and then after that, you can decide where you want to live, who you want to be with, what you want to be. But sometimes those decisions will be influenced by things that just happen to you. You might be at your job as a waitress or a barista and happen to meet someone who might later offer you a job or might turn out to be the love of your life. You control those things to an extent as well, because usually those things only happen if you are a kind and compassionate and caring individual, which I know each of you are. And then there will be the things that happen to you that you can't control, and sometimes those turn out to be the good things. But a lot of the time, they turn out to be the bad things. Because if you could control everything, your life would be a beautiful dream, right? With no hardship and no stress. In my senior year of college, I took a capstone course, and I can't exactly remember the exact assignment for the final project, but it was something along the lines of write about what the next 20 years of your life are going to be like. So I chose to write the assignment in the form of 20 yearly emails to all of my college friends and to update them on my life. So when I was 21, looking ahead to 41, I had an amazing job, found the perfect husband, lived in a great house. My life was amazing. When I turned in the draft, my professor, Carol Patillo, I'll never forget her name, called me in to see her, which first of all never happened to me, so I was totally freaked out. But she said something to the effect of, this is great, well written, but this is not what your life is probably going to be like. And I'd like you to rewrite it, including some kind of difficulty, some kind of suffering. But again, at 21, I was fortunate enough that nothing really bad had really ever and truly happened to me. And I couldn't envision, nor did I really want to, any of that bad stuff. And it ended up being one of the most difficult writing assignments of my college career. 6 years later, when my brother was diagnosed with brain cancer, which is arguably the worst thing that has happened in my life, I remember thinking, damn you, Carol Patillo, how did you know what was going to happen? So this advice, make everything that happens to you good for you, doesn't mean that as soon as something bad happens, you need to say, okay, this is bad, but what am I going to do to make it good for me? That's not the way life works. You often deal with your emotion first, and who knows how long that will take, and then I think you can start to work through those emotions and move forward. I'd like to think that SEM has served as a place where you can deal with your emotions as you've talked to teachers, friends, and your advisor. It is one of the places that helped me the most when I was going through a difficult time. Sometimes the good will come from bad situations without you really even knowing it. When I look back on the time of my brother's illness, I now think that it made me more open and made me realize that things aren't always going to be the way you planned. I'd like to think that that's why I met my now husband when I did, because if prior to 2008 you had told me I was going to marry a man 9.5 years older than me who had 2 kids, I would have told you you were crazy. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to get a life partner out of every bad situation. That's just an example of how you can learn from difficult things. But seriously, there will inevitably be disappointments in your life. You might not get the job you want, and you might not meet the person of your dreams when you thought you were going to. You might experience hardship and loss in some way, shape, or form. But many of these things happen for a reason. If you have done everything in your power to try to achieve your goals, again, working hard, being a kind and compassionate person, then when something doesn't work out, that's for a reason. You can be proud of yourself because you know that you have done everything you can to try and earn those good things. You should be especially proud of yourselves today. You are an extraordinary group of young women with an amazing array of talents. You are actors and athletes and scholars and artists and leaders and friends. You have worked incredibly hard and have left SEM a better place than when you came. We even have an Instagram account now. I've spoken today about kindness and compassion, and I believe that your kindness and compassion, class of 2014, will be your legacy at SEM. You welcomed 4 new classmates this year without hesitation and with open arms. Then, as a united senior class, though the school is at its largest population since 1974, you brought the school together more than ever before with your leadership and kindness. I don't think since I've been at SEM, I've seen a senior class with members who have more friends in the lower classes than ever before. And your kindness and compassion were never more evident than yesterday when you honored Helen Boyceban, your late classmate. So the moral of my story is that none of you should ever travel on a bus together anywhere ever again. No. Make everything that happens to you good for you. I hope you take a moment when you are dealing with a difficult situation to think about that message. It isn't easy, but you are all ready because of all you have learned over these past 4 years at SEM. You can thank Miss Angel for those words of wisdom, she who has watched over you in the library and in SEM over these past 4 years. And I know the whole SEM community and I would like to thank you for 4 wonderful years. Congratulations.